This is the completed color wheel, and in this video, you'll watch it be painted. So I want to share with you what primary, secondary, and tertiary colors are. You'll see the words on the screen in a minute. Primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. They are primary. Primary means one. The secondary colors are orange, green, and violet. Secondary means two. And then the tertiary colors are all the small circles. There's 6 of them. So we've got red, violet, red, orange, yellow, green, green, blue, and blue, violet. The tertiary colors have double names, and their names are just the 2 colors that they're made up of. So blue, violet is made up of blue and violet. Red, orange is made up of red and orange, which is really red and yellow, right? Because all the colors come from these 3. These are the only 3 colors you have to do the mixing with. So how do we know what makes what? All of the oranges are between the red and the yellow. They're made by red and yellow. All of the greens are in between the blue and the yellow. They're made from blue and yellow. And all of the violets are made between the blue and the red. So if primary means 1, secondary means 2, and tertiary means 3, it makes sense then that if you add a 1 plus a 1, you get a 2. A primary plus a primary, you get a secondary. And it makes sense then that if you add a 2 plus a 1, you get a 3. A secondary plus a primary makes a tertiary. Simple math. In this video, you will see a color wheel being painted. The title of the video is Color Theory dash primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Primary, secondary, and tertiary colors make up all the 12 colors of the color wheel. Those 3 categories of colors make up all the 12 colors in the color wheel. And color theory really is the study of color, how it works, the harmonies, the relationships of colors to each other. So let's take a look. First of all, notice the materials. We have the paper with the blank color wheel template. We have the 3 primary colors. Those little discs are dry paint discs in that little paint tray. We have a paper towel, a couple brushes. You only need 1 for this, a small brush, a water dish, and you really only need to fill it about 1 centimeter's worth of water, and then a tray. Our trays look a little bit different than that, but you will be using those little circular bowl spaces on the plastic tray for mixing your colors. So what he's doing right here is putting water to loosen up, to make wet the little dry pablets of color. I don't really do that because I think it gets too watery. I just, wet my brush and go into the color. The first thing you're going to do is just fill in where the yellow, red, and blue go. There's no mixing to be done. And those are your primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. And they go in those spots. So yellow at the 12 o'clock position, red at the 8 o'clock position, and blue at the 4 o'clock position. After this, we're going to work on 1 color family at a time. Again, I don't do what he's doing. I don't add water to the little circles. I just get my brush wet and go in the colors and kind of scoop out the watery colors, but you'll see what works for you. So by putting 2 yellows in the tray and then using red, we know we're going to be doing the orange colors here because yellow and red make orange. So what are these little dashes here? What do you think they are? It's this way of testing the color out because you can see this color here made this color. Looks way darker in the tray. So by making these dashes, you can test out how accurate your color is on the white paper. So I definitely want you to do that. So with one of the yellows, he added red, just enough to make an orange, and with the other one, he added a little less red to make the yellow orange. Now he's going back in to add more red to make the red orange. Obviously, this is on a gradient from yellow to red, red to yellow. Very gradual. We want the transition between each one to be nice and gradual. So now he's going to go in and make the greens. Yellow and blue make green. It's a secondary color. Red, yellow, blue are primaries. So far we've got an orange secondary, now a green secondary. Again, making those little dashes to make sure that the color's accurate because look at how dark this looks in here. That looks really, really dark, but this is the actual color. All these colors so far are really, really accurate. Now going back in to add more blue to get that blue-green. I'm going to pause it here. I want you to look at this blue-green and then let your eyes dart back and forth between the green, the blue-green, blue, blue-green, green, blue-green, blue, blue-green. And I think it's too close to the green. Can you see that? It should be visually right in the middle of the blue and the green. It should look like an equal color distance between the blue and the green, like visually right in the middle. But to me, it looks like a dark green. I think it needs a little more blue to be a true blue-green because it should be a little more turquoise. And that's what I want you to do is be really discerning with your eyes and try to get that visual middle balance between each color, between the color you're judging and the two colors it's made up of. Let's keep going. Now I'm going to do the violets. And the violets are made up of the two darkest colors, right? The red and blue are the two darkest colors. So violets can tend to be the trickiest of the three color families because it can be overpowering. The dark is powerful. The dark colors are way more powerful than the light colors. The light colors are pretty weak. Dark colors are powerful. So there we go, we have a violet. It works. So remember, I was saying how dart your eyes back and forth between these colors to see how accurate this is. So you dart back and forth between the two colors it's made of. Let's do that with the violet. We want to see how accurate visually is the violet right in the middle visually between the red and the blue. Pretty much, it works. There you go, making the dashes for the red violet. which is a tertiary color. All right, so let's judge that. Looking at the red violet, let your eyes dart back and forth between the red and the violet, the two colors that make the red violet. Visually, does it look directly in the middle? I don't think so. It needs more what? It needs to be more purple, so it needs more blue, because that's what makes it purple, right? So if this was the spectrum between the red and the violet, this red violet would be more like right closer to the red. This red violet that he made here is not quite accurate. It needs to be darker. It needs more blue to be closer visually to purple, because it needs to be balanced between red and purple or violet. Now for the blue violet. And I want you to be doing this as you mix the colors, is to be judging them as you go. And that's what the dashes will help you for. So look at this. This is a really nice blue violet. It mixes in the middle. It's mixed in the middle nicely between this violet and the blue. So this is important too. Each color really has to be accurate, because let's say you're mixing this color and this one isn't accurate, well then this one will be off. So because you're comparing each new color by the two that is making it, by the two that it's supposed to be in between. So this is a wonderful blue violet right there that works. It looks visually in the middle between the violet and the blue. However, he goes back in and adds more blue. And I think this version is way too blue. Look at visually how it's super close to the blue, but it's pretty far away from the violet. It's just too heavy in the blue. I think he could have skipped that step. Anyway, moving on to, he says make gray here, but it's really a black or a brownish black. It's only gray looking because it's on white paper. So, because it's transparent. So the true color we're trying to get here is a black. If it's a little bit brown, that's fine, but truly we want to get black. And that is made by mixing all the colors. Well, all the colors are just three colors, the three primaries. So he will be mixing the primaries here. And he's making those dashes to see, again, what the color is. And this is a trick. When you're mixing for the black in the middle, if you have a color here that's coming up like greenish, how can we balance that out? Remember I said the black is all colors. So we're mixing opposites, really. That's the quickest path to balance it out. So if we got something coming up green, what can we add to get black? Red, because it's right across from each other. They're right across from each other. Okay, that's coming up greenish, right? So let's see. Adding some red to it. Yep. Now those dashes are coming up a little bit orange. What's across from orange? Blue. So maybe we need to add some blue to that. It's quite blue. Now it's getting closer, getting closer. Just keep experimenting. There we go. That's a really nice black. Awesome. Ta-da! Here's a tip. When you are mixing colors, you always start with the lighter color. the lighter of the two colors. So notice when he was mixing the orange colors, he started with yellow and added red to the yellow. Yellow is the lightest color, so he added red to the yellow. Otherwise, if you're adding light color into the dark, it's just going to take way too long. You're wasting paint, you're wasting time, and potentially getting frustrated. So you always start with the lighter color and you just bring a little bit of dark into the light. You can always make it darker, but it's really hard to make something lighter. In fact, if you want to get a lighter color, if you're mixing and you're like, oh, that's too dark, just start over, start fresh with a new space for the light color and bring just a tad of dark color into it and start that way. Just like when making the greens, you want to start with yellow and bring blue into the yellow a little bit at a time. And when you're mixing the violets, you want to start with the red because red's the lighter color and you want to bring blue into the red just a little bit at a time. Happy painting!